Good morning. I hope all is well with you and things are going good and you're not too bothered by the news and various things we see on the news broadcasts and so on and I expressed a strong opinion in favor of Will Smith slapping that comedian who Will initially kind of chuckled about what he was saying and then noted how his lady was quite hurt and so on and well she should have been and he should have been a little bit more aggressive towards recognizing the his lady's consternation, well, shame really, and sadness and hurt, because because no man should, and really no lady either should pick on another who is suffering from something that is not their fault. Will's lady had alopecia, and when I was a kid growing up in the back of a hairdressing shop that my mom and oh geez half our family worked in, and and hearing my mom talk about a person suffering from that and large circles of hair would just fall out of the person's head. Now, the comedian claims he didn't know anything about that, and that's fine. But I haven't heard that comedian make a public apology to Will Smith's wife. Now, Will, in his desire for acceptation, has apologized. He apologized to the awards people. He apologized to the comedian, and so on. And here's the deal. Did Will then apologize to his wife? Well, he should have, because he owed her an apology in two parts. One, he didn't recognize how hurt she was. There was about 5 or 6 feet distance between their chairs, which I don't happen to understand, but I don't have to understand the type of relationship that someone has with their spouse. It's not my place. But I think of all the things that my mom taught me as a kid, and if my mother were alive, were she at that venue, Academy Awards, my mom would have looked around after hearing Chris Rock, I believe, the comedian, making fun of, that's what my mom would call it, of Will Smith's wife's situation, having no hair to speak of. She had shaved it off in an effort to make those bald patches, which had fallen out, called alopecia, I think. My mom would have looked around, and she would have got up from wherever she was sitting, and she would have walked up on that stage, and she would not have slapped the man. She would have punched him. I remember working for a family in Airdrie, Irish family. They were home builders. And I remember so many years ago, early, mid 90s, let's say, and my superintendent walked in, and I said, I haven't seen the two girls lately, and they were hard working ladies, and they worked under their dad's tutelage, mentoring. And so I asked the superintendent, I said, What are they up to?" And he very simply said, a couple of things about the girls that I won't repeat. It was not good. In retrospect, about an hour after the guy walked away, I realized I should have gone over to the door and opened the door and offered to take my superintendent outside and beat the hell out of him. I should have. Because I mentioned it to my mom, and she looked at me and she said, "Jimmy," she always called me Jimmy. She said, posed the question, was there no man there who had enough guts to take that superintendent who worked for that family in building houses in Airdrie at that time? She asked, was there no man there, Jimmy, who would take him outside? And I said, "Mom, I was there." She said, "Why did you not take him out?" I said, "Because I was trying to hold on to my mortgage, whatnot." And when you think about it, when I think about it, well, I was ashamed. Before my own mother, I was ashamed. And in retrospect, it didn't take but a few minutes, and I was so ashamed of everything that I had done. In essence, everything that I had not done. Will Smith, right or wrong, not my place to judge, but he did something. He took a shot at something. A little late, but he did. I don't know. I don't know what happens to a man such as myself when making a mortgage payment, maintaining a job becomes more important to them, to me at that time, than doing what I now would look back and refer to as being the right thing. I can't I can't judge because when I do judge anyone over anything, it does seem to me that my mentor, the Creator, His Son, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, speaks into my heart and says, "You who are without sin." That's a takeoff of when Jesus had a lady by the scribes and Pharisees, I think, who brought the lady before Jesus and said, this woman was caught in the very act of adultery. The law, Jewish law, demands that she be stoned to death publicly in an open square in front of everybody. And they asked Jesus, "What do you say? What verdict are you going to give on this lady's life?" And Jesus knelt, and started writing in the sand. He said, "Whoever," I'm paraphrasing again, "is without sin, you cast the first stone. You throw the first stone at this lady." And it didn't take too long. And from the older down to the younger, they just kind of disappeared, left. The lady and Jesus were left standing. Jesus stood. The lady had fully expected to be killed. And he said, Jesus posed a question. He said, "Woman, where art thou? Art thy accusers?" Well, they talked funny back then. Well, they didn't actually. They spoke a different language. But King James in the 1600s, when he formulated a Bible that was for not the church, but it was for the people to be able to learn. And he said, where are those who accused you?" And she said, "They're gone." He said, "Neither do I accuse you, nor condemn you, but go and sin no more." Here, the lady, according to the law of the day, had been caught in the very act of adultery, indicating that someone was married, possibly her. What happened to the man who takes two, was also caught in the act of adultery? What happened to him? Well, conveniently, the Pharisees, the hypocrites, had not brought him before Jesus. Inequity. We see it in the politics of our day, where a talking point encompasses a semblance of truth, but denying the truth of the situation. Enough truth to stir people up, but not enough substantively to give people cause to think it through, ascertain, determine for themselves what is right. So anyways, I screwed up. My mom was not proud of me. I chose, in my situation, with that site super, to take the easy way out. Will Smith, when he laughed, prior to seeing the hurt on his wife's face, they speak of Will and his lady as having an open relationship. I don't give a rat's ass. I do believe that if you truly love someone, there would be no one else in the world you would rather be with than the one you love, with your whole heart, body, soul, spirit, and mind, your heart. Several years later, I was in the presence of the site super, and he said, I'm gonna fire you." And I said, "Good." And he looked at me, and I walked over and I opened the door. And I said, "I've told myself for several years now that when you chose to fire me, I would take you straight outside and I would beat the hell out of you." And I said, "So let's go." He outweighed me by 80 pounds, at least, maybe, at least. And he wouldn't go. And it further condemned myself by my own words, by my own action. I counted my job as more important, so I did not defend my boss, whom I so admired. Incidentally, his first name was Martin, from Ireland. And I have chosen to try to learn from my own failures. I'm not going to waste very much time judging in others' failures in order that I might learn from them, because I make enough fun of my own, and I can learn from my own. Anyways, don't be too hard on Will Smith unless you choose to be, and then give her hell. Remember, it's not right to pick on a lady over anything. I take that a little farther, and I say it's not right to pick on anyone who cannot stand up, doesn't have the techno skills to stand up for themselves. And that's the way it is. Wednesday morning, Fort McMurray, Alberta. Cowboy Jim over and out. Oh, the joy that would be possible if we could look back and see all the things that we've done wrong and start with a fresh slate. We can, in God, by saying, "Forgive me." Oh, I said that a lot. Oh, I have said that a lot, and I've meant it a lot. God bless thee. God bless.